16:24. God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in tents. Brethren, it's important for us to understand we are not attacking anyone, but we're trying to be careful how we looked at things, because all that glitters is not gold. That's what I said earlier. You can call Jesus' name all you want, but the same Bible tells me not everyone that is calling Lord, Lord will make it to heaven. You may know the name of the Lord, but God may not know you unless you have a relationship with him. The question, who or what are you going to believe? And who or what are you going to worship? The question hasn't changed. Are you going to worship the earth? The Bible, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the beginning was the world, John 1:3, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things, not a single thing, were made without God. God made everything, and without God, nothing was made. And Revelation 14:6-7 said, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. What is he saying? Saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. And whom should we worship? Worship him that made heaven and earth, the sea and the fountains of water. This is whom I want to worship. I want to worship God, not the earth, because God created the earth. I want to worship the Creator. Now, brace yourself now. We're going to go into some very dangerous water now. And as we close, this book, it's on Amazon, it's online. You can read it yourself, and you can verify everything that I'm going to show you in this book. The beauty of this book is it's not written by a Seventh-day Adventist. It's not written by a Christian. The author of this book is an economist. He deals with money. All right? Let me show a few quotes from that book with you, and so that, Sister Shepherd, we will know in which time we live. And this book was written many years ago. And this is what the author has to say. A quote, but constitution can be changed, and non-Catholic sects may decline to such a point that the political prescription of them may become feasible and expedient. What protection would they have then against a Catholic state? Remember, I told you when I preached here the first time, Rome is a political and religious power. It's a political and religious power. The two and them, and one. All right? The latter could logically tolerate only such religious activity as were confined to members of the dissenting group. Now, let me tell you what that word means. In layman term, for everyone to understand what that word means, that word here, okay? It simply means anyone but Catholics. Whatever title you have, Adventist, Pentecostal, Baptist, you're out if you're not a Catholic. So you belong to that group if you're not a Catholic. It gets better. The quote continues. It could not permit them to carry a general propaganda, nor accord the organization certain privileges. Are we seeing where this thing is going? In other words, the privileges that we now have, if you don't profess yourself to be a Catholic, will soon be taken away from you. Okay? That had formerly been extended to 4 religious corporations, for example, exemption from taxation. So we come to a time, if you don't belong to them, you're excluded, and then the rest is history. In 1948, the Jesuit Cavalli explained Roman Church state political strategy in the document that he published. He says that the Roman Catholic Church, convinced through its divine prerogative of being the only true church, must demand the right of freedom for herself alone. Because such a right can only be possessed by truth, not by error. The devil is a liar. Herself alone. And it states, where the majority of from the book, I'm reading from the book, where the majority of the Catholics, people are Catholic, the church will require legal existence be denied to error, and if that a religious minority actively exists, they shall have only a de facto existence without opportunity to spread the belief. Align with us, then you're going to have issues. She wrote, Ayn Rand, she wrote, the Catholic Church has never given up the hope of reestablishing the medieval union of church and state with a global state and a global theocracy as its ultimate. In other words, one religion, one politics, one governor. The Pope will be the leader of the world. He will be the religious leader of the world. Everything from Rome. If I said it, or if the Seventh-day Adventists were to say it, you would have said that he's biased. What? He's coming from a non-Christian writer. And it gets better. The Roman Church. I want you to pay attention to that slide. Brethren, please, if you are sleeping, wake up. I want you to pay attention to that slide. The Roman Church state in the 20th century, however, is an institution recovering from a mortal wound. If and when it regains its full power and authority, it will impose a regime more sinister, sin. The beast received a mortal wound, and the mortal wound was healed, right? When did that happen? 1798, when the French general arrested the Pope, and he died in Paris. And then from 1870 and so, he gradually started to regain its strength. The author said, if and when it regains its full power. And you remember what Rome did to the early Christian. You remember what they did? Persecution was nothing, Sister Allison. For fun, they would throw them before wild beasts and enjoy them being devoured by wild beasts. And they're clapping. So if you think that was gruesome and that was bad, brace yourself. The author says it will be even much worse than you have ever seen. And then that shook me when I came across this thing as I was preparing this sermon. Archbishop Quigley in the 1903 Chicago Tribune says, when the United States rules the world, the Catholic Church will rule the world. Again, that's prophecy. The image of the beast will transfer the power to and then that's it. So this is on point with prophecy. when the United States rules the world, the Catholic Church will rule the world. And let me tell you something, brethren. You may not agree with me. You may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Right now, as we speak, legislation has been written for this purpose. It's a matter of time before all the rights and privileges that we have to worship freely will be taken away. So if there's a time for us to be ready and say ready, it's now. Because the time is coming. And as I remember when I was a young kid, Sister Shepherd, and when I was doing playing hide and seek, the people say, ready or not, here I come. Ready or not, it's gonna come. Ready or not, it's gonna come. Now the question, when it comes, are you gonna be ready to make a choice? If you don't have enough information, you'll be hard. But if you know that this must come to pass,